welcome back Creekside Homestead, Alaska. Today we're doing a little bit of maintenance on the tractor here. Just went over 400 hours. There's quite a bit needs done. I need to change the engine oil filter. Need to at least change the 2 filters for the hydrostatic system. That's the transmission and all the hydraulic fluids. All runs off the same fluid. I believe I got to change the fluid too, but I'm going to double check that. I'm also going to lube it. I might have to wait a little while till it warms up. It's I just pulled it in, obviously, and I need to be able to wipe the old grease off. I've been accused of over greasing, like there is such a thing. I don't know, but yeah, just a few things need to be done. I'm gonna give it a once over. Probably go in there and retorque the loader bolts. Normally I would say, eh, but I was looking in the book. This was about 200 hours ago, I think, and looking to see what needed to be done and for the service, and it mentioned it, and I'm like, yeah, I'll check them out. And boy, I'm glad I did, because there was like 3 of them that were loose. So double check those. Check the air filter. I haven't had trouble with that yet. I got a little kit here. I guess it's not really a kit. The dealer, you know, basically you tell them what you got and they'll tell you what you need. So got some oil filter, 2 hydraulic filters, and then a fuel filter, which I've never changed. But like I said, it's got over 400 hours on it. I think it's 407. Yeah, this time I'm not quite on time, but you know. But yeah, so I'll take you along with as much as I can. Hopefully this works out. This is, again, I want to just disclaim, this is not a how-to, but I like to show people, anyway, I like to show people that you can do it yourself. It's, you know, taking your tractor, putting it on a trailer, taking it all the way into the big city, you know, an hour and a half plus to get there, and leaving it and then going back and getting it and all that just for a $400 service doesn't seem, it just doesn't seem like necessary. So I just like to show people, you know, you can do it yourself. I mean, you got the money, let them do it, I guess. And it doesn't extend the warranty. I mean, the warranty's up on it. So I guess if you're trying to protect your warranty, it makes sense. But outside of that, it's a tractor. You know, I can get my fat self underneath it to change this stuff, so most people can. But anyway, I'll take you along with for as much as I can get to. Show you what I know, show you what I find, and you make your decision for yourself if you want to do it yourself. Anyway, thanks for watching. So I was getting ready to put my coveralls on. These are coveralls I've been using to lay on the cold ground for many years. Had them for a very long time, and it makes me giggle because they bring back memories, and I'll tell you why. You'll notice that they've got what looks like a stab wound in the heart here with some fake blood there. When the kids were little, we used to do a lot of Halloween decorations and stuff, and I think this one we stuffed with a bunch of stuff in, and it made it look like a dead guy on the porch. I don't know, not everybody's into it, but it's a happy memory for me. It'd be really cool if I fit in them the same way I did back then. That would be cool. All right, so I'll get this hood open. I'm still sore from yesterday. It's the story of my life, I guess. It's the right side of the engine. There's a little fuel filter. Pretty simple deal. They're not glass like they used to be, but take that little guy off, change it. Probably going to do the oil and hydraulic fluid first, though. See if I can't take it underneath there with me, if I can get enough light under there. I'm going to double check the book to see how much it holds. I'm a little concerned now that I think about it. If I have enough, I might have to drain the pan a couple of times into something bigger, barrel or something. Yeah, that's the plan. but I'll show you as much as I can. And then the oil's easy. It's just typical engine oil. So, but I'll take you under there for as much as I can. So I did. That's probably loud. I did warm the engine up a bit before I started. Helps this helps the oil flow a little bit. If I remember right. Haha. If I remember right, it's these two guys here. Hope you can see that. It's like two different low spots for the oil. If I'm wrong, something else come out. But pretty sure I'm right. It's one of those times you wish you bought a slightly bigger tractor. And that's engine oil. This engine doesn't hold a ton of oil, but it's still a little cold. There you go. Got a little air in it. Glug, glug. This whole tractor and of course the engine are Japanese made, so everything's metric. In case you're curious. That is a 14 millimeter. This is a B2601 from Kubota. Got a little 3-cylinder Yamaha engine. Good little tractor. All right, we'll come back when that's done glug glugging. Okay, over here on the left side of the engine, this little panel comes off. And then there's your oil filter right there. Super simple to get off. You can see I didn't write the number of hours on it that I changed it last. That's mainly because I change them by hours. What the book tells me to change them, I change them. So that's that. So we'll get this little guy off, see if we can't. I mean, it's not in the best spot. You can see that just below it is the axle. And of course the block heater plug. All right, so what are the chances? Slim chances. Of course, now the all the snow and ice is melting off this thing, so I'm getting wet when I get under it. I think I'm gonna try and put something underneath there. Look at that. It's that Japanese engineering, man. Not a drop. All right, let's see if I can find the right filter. Shout out to the Kubota dealership here in Alaska. They're pretty dang good. All right, just check the book, make sure how much it takes. It takes 3.3 quarts of 10W30. I always put a little bit of lube on the little oil, fresh oil, on the gasket. Helps release it when you go to take it off next time. And if you do it yourself, do yourself a favor. Ah! There's a hose just to the forward edge of this filter, and it's actually preformed with a little dent in it, which I think is pretty cool. I love it when engineers think about the maintenance guys, you know. Mainly because I've been a maintenance guy my entire life. Well, adult life anyway. I thought I was a mechanic when I was younger. I just wasn't. All right. Okay, so get these plugs back in. A little bit of leakage on my garage floor, which is par for the course for me. That was a little bit grittier than I like to hear. So I'll back her out. Wipe it down a little bit better. Sounds better already. Plug number one. I was also looking up in the book for the hydraulic oil. There is, oops, right in the eyeball. There is a drain plug for the transmission oil, which is also the hydraulic oil. And it holds 4 gallons, which I think I might have enough. Probably not. So, might be a click. All right, that's torque. My drain pan's a mess. I'm not sure if it's actually holding oil in it. All right. I don't know if you noticed, but I did try to wear gloves. They just don't stay on. They just break. As soon as I start using tools, they just break a hole. I don't know how these guys use it. I don't understand it. All right, so that's engine oil changed, filter changed. Got to put oil in the crankcase, but while I'm down here, I think I'm gonna go ahead and show you next thing I'm gonna do. So there's one filter and there's the other filter, okay? One of them is labeled or supposed to be hydraulic filter, okay? The other one is transmission filter. However, they share the same oil, hydraulic oil. And I'm telling you, this hydraulic oil stuff that they use, it looks like vegetable oil. It is so thin and clean and clear. So I'm going to change these two guys as soon as I figure out where to put this camera. Okay, so there is a drain plug for the transmission. And I'm like, pretty sure this is where it's at. Let's see. Wrong again. This is your mid PTO here. If you have, oh my goodness, is that a drain plug or where does it go? It's huge. If you have a mower deck or something, it'll run off this thing. Yeah, this hydraulic oil, it looks like vegetable oil to me, but actually it's pretty dang clean still. All right, we'll come back when that's done. Yeah. Okay, that's good. Now I'll change these filters. I'm sure we'll get a little leakage. Either way, there's also another drain plug over there. This is transmission here, and that is hydraulic. I believe I gotta wipe my hand off, or I'll never be able to turn this filter. Oh, there we go. Okay, back to the wrench. Just getting these rubber seals lubed up with a little bit of transmission fluid / hydraulic fluid. Like I said, this one here is the transmission filter, and the other one is the hydraulic filter. A little bit of leakage. Just a little bit that was left in something, I guess. Remember, hand tight. With a rag. All right. That's that. This one's a little bit more of a pain to get to, it looks like. This one these have been changed. I think it's 250 or something hours. You're supposed to change the filters, but not the oil. Whoops. I need that later. I wish you could see the water dripping on me right now. It's making it less than pleasant. These have been changed. I think it's 250 or something hours. You're supposed to change the filters, but not the oil. Oh, got it. Okay, so the next thing I'm gonna do is fill it up with oil, engine oil. I'm gonna need a funnel. Yep, better than nothing. So like I said, this engine calls for, the book calls for 10W30, no matter what temperature it is. This is a non-emissions, non-emissions engine, non-turbo, just a good old-fashioned diesel engine. So nothing special. I think you can even put single weight in it, but in Alaska, yeah. It's hard enough to start this thing when it's, well, below zero. Does not want to run. Well, it'll run, but it doesn't want to work. And then if it's 15 below or so, you might as well get the hand tools out. It'll go, it'll start, but man, it just struggles. So I'm going to put, according to the book, 3.3 quarts of this in here. And then I'll be back. We got 3 1/3-ish quarts of oil in there. Now we have to fill up the hydraulic fluid. That will be next. I think we're done up here. Well, we want to do a leak check. You always do a leak check, fellas and fillettes. I don't know if you guys can see it real good, but this little yellow guy here is what you check your hydraulic / transmission oil with, okay? And then this little plug here is where you fill it. I already know we're gonna need some. Ooh, it's gonna be tight. And I just realized that one of these gallons of hydraulic oil weren't quite full, so maybe a tad short. I gotta flip this seat forward so I can get to this a little easier. Yeah, I knew we were gonna be short, so I'm gonna have to run to the store and get a little bit more hydraulic oil. That was the last of what I had on hand anyway. I don't like not having it on hand, so we'll go ahead and move on. So the next thing I'm gonna do is change this fuel filter. I have a bad feeling about this stuff. Oh, okay. I just need something to drain that in. Okay, so I got a little mason jar here. Hopefully I'll get this all over the place. I am going to wipe this out. It's got a little bit of sludge at the bottom, a little bit of funk on the filter. I'm glad I decided to change it. Yeah, definitely need that O-ring. There's an O-ring on the old one. down in the middle. And this one doesn't have it. So I'm gonna check the little box. So that little guy right there goes in the middle of that right there. I'll show you when I get it in there. Now you can see it's in the middle there. And that outer one came off with the old one too. So if you ever do this, make sure you get your O-rings. It does stop the flow of fuel when this is off. I'm gonna have to get you out of here. Maybe right here. I don't know if you can see or not. But as soon as you start pushing it up on there, there we go. I just needed 2 hands. So anyway, like I was saying, it stops the flow of fuel when that fuel filter bowl and everything is off of there, which is a pretty nice feature, actually. I know I keep talking about these engineers, man. Sometimes you just pay for quality. Pay for engineers that think about the little guy. All right, anybody that's messed with diesels before, especially old school, you know, anytime you open a fuel line, you have to bleed the system. So, of course, I'm searching around the book trying to find out, okay, well, what's the procedure for bleeding this system? You know, what does the book say? You know, typically you want to crack a line here, blah, blah, blah. You turn it over and get your fuel squirting and you get it all the way up to your injectors. Well, the book actually has a section and it says bleeding the fuel lines. It said fill the tank with fuel, start engine, run for 30 seconds, turn off engine. That's the bleeding procedure. Yeah, okay. All right, let me think here. Before we go to the store and get more hydraulic oil, I have one more little thing to do. I treated myself. To a steering knob. Hey. It's the little things in life, right? So I'm gonna put my steering knob on. Anybody out there that's ever run any equipment probably understands exactly the value of a steering knob. Hopefully it fits. I'm gonna be zooming now. All right, so we did the engine oil filter, hydraulic filters, fuel filter. So last thing we have to do today anyway is get a little bit more hydraulic oil, fill that up. I don't know if you've seen the price of hydraulic oil. Oh my goodness, I don't understand it. But anyway, so I need to get I'll probably get 2 more gallons. That way I'll have one on hand, but probably need about half gallon. Anyway, then have to bleed the fuel system, which obviously is pretty simple. And then when I'm doing that, do a walk around, make sure nothing's leaking. I know you have to run it for a while, shut it off, check that hydraulic oil again. I'll come back when we're getting ready to start it up and do all the priming. When I'm back from the store, got me some genuine Kubota hydraulic oil. Just kidding, it's from Napa. It says Kubota on the back of it somewhere though, so it's got to be good. Now I'm gonna finish filling this hydraulic system with hydraulic oil, and then move on to greasing the joints. I got to start it to move the loader in order to grease all the joints. So I'll do the oil priming, or sorry, fuel prime, and check the oil leaks and leaks anywhere else at the same time I do that. Okay, so here we go. Okay, check the dipstick. See if it's showing yet. Ooh. Okay. Get a rag. I think it's touching now. I think I must not have seen it on there before, because now it's like way up there. That's a little overfull now. Drain a little bit out. Okay, so I drained it a little bit. Left it a tad high because I know that once those filters get filled up, it'll drop a little bit. So I'm gonna start her up, and hopefully it starts with that, with the air in the lines. Make sure I didn't forget anything before I do that. So I'm going to check this fluid level now. I'm sure it dropped. And that's very acceptable level now. Good deal. So I didn't see any leaks. Kind of hard to tell since all the snow leaking, melting, looking like leaks. So I feel pretty confident to go ahead and put this cover back on. Got a couple guide pins in the back, and then in the front, guide pins. It just slides down over top of them like that. That's good. Now I need to get my gloves on, my other gloves on. Get some rags, because I gotta wipe off a lot of this old grease. This grease, man, I tell you, all you have to do is look at it and you'll get it on you. I think my brother-in-law will never want me to grease his tractor again. I can tell you this though, when I'm done greasing, he's got some grease. It is considered greased. I'll have to hit it with a degreaser this summer. Old grease gun. If you don't have one, if you do this, get you a locking lube. It makes the job easier, and you get the grease in there a little better. There's some grease fittings that you get to with the loader down, and then a couple I have to get with the loader up. I almost always forget about the ones at the quick attach. That's pretty much it for that. Well, that's pretty much the gist of a 400-hour service. Did not do the axles. I will do that later. That's, you know, 80, 90 weight, something like that, just normal axle service. But that's pretty much it for a 4-hour service. Feel free to ask questions if you have them, or give me, you know, any advice you might think I need. Tell me what I did wrong, whatever. I'm sure I did a few things wrong by the book or in somebody's book. Anyway, I'm gonna get this garage bay cleaned up, and we'll see you in the next one. Thanks for sticking around. See you next time.